Welcome to Breathe, Love, Parent, the Shine On podcast. I'm your host, Rach, yoga teacher, natural mama, and passionate guide in all things nervous system and connection. This is your space for honest conversations, emotional wellbeing tools, and mindful parenting insights. Whether you're in the thick of meltdowns or seeking a moment of calm, you belong here. Let's take a breath together and begin. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Breathe, Laugh, Parent, the Shine On podcast. Today's episode is close to my heart because it's something I live and breathe every day, especially in this season of life as a stay-at-home mama with 2 little ones under 3. Today, we're talking about micro moments of joy. The little pauses, rituals, and sensory experiences that ground us and refill our cups, even when life is full and time is short. Because let's be real, the big indulgent versions of self-care that we often see promoted online, long bubble baths, girls' weekends away, uninterrupted journaling sessions, look, they're beautiful, but often not realistic in the day-to-day of parenting small humans. And I want to reframe that. I want to invite you into a gentler, more accessible rhythm of self-care, one that's based on the power of presence and not perfection. So something that I live by is micro moments. And you might hear me talking about it frequently, whether on the podcast or within the content that I share. So I'm all about the micro moments. So what are micro moments? Well, micro moments are tiny, intentional acts of connection with yourself. They might not seem significant on the surface, but when practiced consistently, they become powerful rituals, ones that nourish your nervous system, lift your mood, and create ripple effects across your parenting, your relationships, and your sense of identity. Now, I can only speak for myself here, but sense of identity, hasn't that changed since becoming a mum the first time? So for me, micro moments look like using my Shine On natural skincare and essential oils. So one of my favorite rituals is using my almond cleanser and exfoliator in the bath or the shower. So it's not just skincare, it's a ritual. I know I'm using ingredients that are gentle and nourishing for my skin, made with intention, made with love. But it might only be that 30 seconds that I'm washing my face, that I just close down my eyes. I notice the granules going onto my skin. I feel the softness and the rejuvenation of my face afterwards. And it's my time. There's no one else. I just block out the sound, have the shower going. It's a small moment of time for me. Some other examples are taking one long, deep breath while I put the washing on. Just simple, right? Feeling the earth beneath my feet as I hold my baby in one arm and watch my toddler bounce wildly on the trampoline. Another moment just there to connect in with the earth, connect in with my breath, and just notice where I am in a moment of time. Some other things I do, rolling on Calm the Farm or my headache relief blend when I need to feel grounded and clear. Particularly if it's approaching moon time, I find the headache relief blend so relaxing. And yeah, for me, it works. So other examples are moving with intention, even just for, look, I like to say 10 minutes, but I know, mamas, that there are days when 10 minutes just feels like a stretch. So even just moving for a minute in the early morning with my baby by my side. So there was a period in my recent motherhood journey where my baby was still sleeping with me in my room. And we're getting up, before dawn and having a feed before my toddler woke. And while she was playing on her kick mat, the little baby gym mats, I was just there doing some stretches, just really opening up my shoulders, opening up my chest and breathing. Some other things that I've been experimenting with, I've created, and it's just for personal use, but a rose essential oil mist that I spray on my body and just take in some deep breaths and just really feeling the essence of rose, which is about self love, unconditional love, and acceptance. And I just find that such a peaceful and beautiful way to start my day. And then there are other things too, like, taking a breath when I pull up at the car, being really intentional with my movement when I pull up into a car park space. You know, instead of rushing from one baby door to the next door, rushing to put the pram on. And let's be honest, there are times when that is necessary, like moving with intention. But then when that's not necessary, I can just take my time and, notice the air. Is it cool? Is it raining? Is it sunny? Notice the birds, what nature's around, like really becoming aware of my environment. And it's just it's small tweaks. And I have reduced my suffering by accepting that this is the accessibility in my life. And it's been a huge shift for me. It's been such a helpful process to go through and be like, this is my season, and really owning that. Because I find like when I wasn't in that ownership of that, there was suffering, there was resentment, there was frustration, right? Bit of woe is me attitude, bit of victim mentality there, being like, why can't I? Or why can't I do this? Or it's not fair. And it's like, hang on, no, I've got one of the greatest gifts. I'm a mum. I get to stay home with my children. I get to work around my children. Yeah, just really stepping into a space of gratitude as well is really helpful. And I actually maybe we'll do a whole session on gratitude because there's so much you can go into that. And I've been really conscious about learning more about gratitude and the scientific evidence that we have around how gratitude impacts our life. So that might be another podcast episode. But anyway, there's a little segue there, future me. Okay, so why the micro moments matter? Okay, let's talk about that. So these micro practices, they may be small. And a minute or 3 breaths or 1 breath isn't much. It is achievable, but they're sustainable. And in this season, that is everything, right? And I've come to a place of deep acceptance about what self-care looks like right now. And when I don't prioritize these moments, oh my gosh, I feel it. I'm less patient with the independence battles. If you have a toddler, when you get to that stage where they have to do everything themselves, or breathe mamas, breathe papas. Oh my gosh, that's the time. I'm less tolerant of the screaming chaos. I'm more reactive and I'm less connected. And it comes back to this idea of the necessity for parents to put ourselves first. And I'm not saying completely disregard your children or, I'm not suggesting that. What I mean by putting yourself first is filling up your cup, regulating your nervous system, finding your sense of self, finding your sense of presence, finding a sense of calm and authenticity so you can show up the way you desire in your parenting. And it's not just parenting, it's in your life, right? And this is relevant for busy professionals who don't have children. I feel like micro moments are just such a sustainable and accessible view of self-care that can just, add quality to our life. So when I give myself these micro moments, even just a few minutes a day, I show up differently. I respond with more compassion. I soften. I stay tethered to myself while holding space for everyone and everything else. And that to me is the essence of joyful parenting. So let's have a practice. Let's practice together. So this may be the only moment you have. So let's really embody this practice. And so if you're listening right now, whether you're driving, folding laundry, feeding your baby, or sitting with a cuppa, I want to invite you into a micro moment right now. Now, let's just preface this that if you are driving, please don't close your eyes. If we're ever doing a practice together and you're doing it something that you do requires your full attention, please, please follow that. Always be safe and make sure your children are safe if you're in the presence of them as well. But right now, let's just pause together. Okay. Notice your feet. Notice what you're doing. Become fully aware of your body, how it's moving, how it feels, what it's connected to. Noticing the clothing on your body or any materials touching the body. And if all you're doing is listening to my voice right now, then let that be enough. Take a breath with me. Inhale through your nose. Exhale softly out your mouth. Let yourself soften just for a moment. This could be the only pause you've had today. And I want you to feel the nurturing energy of this space, knowing that you are not alone in the chaos and you're doing an incredible job. Remember, self-care doesn't need to be something you schedule outside of your life. It can live within your life, in the pauses, in the breath, in the choosing of kind words to yourself, in the skincare you love, in the moment you step outside and feel the sun on your face. Joy is available to you in these micro moments. And by doing all this, it helps us show up in our parenting with presence, with joy, authenticity, and calm. And so I invite you to become aware this week. Become aware of the joy with your children, the feeling of their hand in yours, the smile on their face, the way their face lights up when they learn something or are exposed to something new that excites them. Listen to their stories. Notice the features of their tiny bodies, because one day they won't be so tiny anymore. And just notice how it feels to be really present with your children. Now, if this episode resonated, I'd love for you to share it with a friend or a parent who needs this reminder. And don't forget, we've got a whole season of goodness coming your way, designed to complement my signature offering, the Joyful Parenting Project. So if you're craving more support, keep listening and reach out if you have any questions or any suggestions for future episodes. I'm totally happy to receive all your feedback. I'm also going to take a note about the gratitude episode. I love how these things just come, right? But anyway, until next time, be kind to yourself and remember you're already doing enough. Okay, so sending love and keep shining. Thank you for joining me on Breathe, Laugh, Parent. If this episode brought you a moment of calm or connection, please share it with a fellow mama. Subscribe on your favourite platform or visit shineom.com.au/podcast for more. Until next time, keep breathing, laughing, and parenting with heart. The information shared on Breathe, Laugh, Parent, the Shine On podcast, is for general educational and inspirational purposes only. It is not medical, therapeutic, or professional advice and should not be relied on as such. Always consult a qualified health or parenting professional for support tailored to your individual needs. Shine On and its guests disclaim any liability for decisions made based on this content.